Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So after finishing off stage 3, decided to get off my butt and finish off stage 4. So in this video, we're going to conquer the 4th and final stages of Cascading Quakes. Now if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. So of course stage 4 encompasses all the bosses and difficult fights from stages 1 to 3. And so we really need to bring a lot of mitigation, shielding, debuffing, and so on and so forth. So first off, as our tank, we're going to rely on our trusty old normal style Bertrand with Manifest. We have Claude with his dual debuffing with Forefather. We obviously have a modified Meryl with high magic down, and of course Aurora Force, and we have our DPS, which is Sakia, also doubling as a Pierce Zone setter. So we're going to activate a large 2-turn AF. Note that we have to rely on a little bit of RNG to apply pain. However, that is mitigated or reduced in chance, being that if you use Bertrand, his preemptive move actually applies pain guaranteed. Not to mention, it also applies a 30% power down, so it's very useful. His overbear is extremely important for this fight through all the different stages. Otherwise, I don't know if we'll be able to outspeed. Keep in mind that it's also priority as well, so it really helps here. So the first turn wasn't too bad, only a couple of turns and we wiped out those two. Most of these fights do have multiple HP stoppers, so keep that in mind as well. Now in this case, if you're familiar with the Hell and Death Ogres, they have HP stoppers, and they also do their kind of a AF combo finisher at 50% as well as 25%. So if you don't have enough power down or type shielding or physical shielding, you will get wiped out by that. Popular choices for mitigating are things like Pry to tank it, or obviously Garen Barrow being even more useful than Bertrand. But that being said, we did power down the far left Ogre, and we also had Forefather powered down as well. Keep in mind, we again have Aurora Force still in play, and we're just going to continue attacking, and we do have our half bar AF already. So with Spirit Parade, and again having Overbear apply pain to both, we easily push it from 50% to 25% HP. And note that each of the Ogres after the AF combo at 25% does do 2 hits each, and they can also apply pain as well, which does a tremendous amount of damage the turn after. So Bertrand, since he has a lot of HP, and I did have an HP badge, and you can see that at the end of the video with the loadout, helps to survive because most units don't have, say, 6,000 HP to spare. So in this case, if you're wondering why I didn't just finish off back to back, first of all, I want to re-establish the fact that I have make sure I have that crit, which is the Unburdened Embers. Not only that, but the Ogres apply speed down, and we don't want that to be in place, so we want it to fade, and we took an extra turn and built up our AF to full to take into wave 3. Now, one of the requirements for this fight, if you want all the rewards, is to get it under 20 turns. And so stalling that 1 turn won't make much of a difference if you have high DPS team. I think that, for example, if you ran a wind team with AS Vena, that would probably be preferred, since I wouldn't have to use Mariel. But in this case, well, no choice, right? So we use the units we have. We do have Cure Leaf in play to remove that pain or poison. Make sure that we have all our shields up while we do our AF. We can cast our high magic down. We have Forefather, we have Overbear on both to apply pain. We even have high magic down if we really need to, and a re-established Spirit Unburdened Embers, which will increase our crit damage by 45%. Finally, we have a full AF bar, and so we can generate the EX move and EX finisher with Sakia, doing a tremendous amount of damage. Now, that doesn't really make much difference because, let's be honest, the bosses all have HP stoppers anyways. However, one small thing to note is that if you needed something like that, it does give some benefits to hitting the enemy with the full AF EX finisher. It also gives everyone hold ground, and if you look on all our units icons, they now have the hold ground badge, and so that will allow us an extra layer of protection just in case we screw up and make a mistake and get killed off somehow. Now again, Sakia is definitely the star of the show here, although we have 3 supporting units, and so when you build most team fights against super bosses or multiple boss waves, you definitely do have to have some sort of 1 healer generally, 1 support, 1 tank, and of course 1 or 2 DPS. Now, the Pierce zone doesn't protect us nearly as much as say a Wind zone would, but still 30% down against other weapon type attacks is still not bad. And remember that it does reduce our heal because it reduces magical moves by 30% as well. However, being that Mariel with Manifest, she's already got a pretty high int, and if you need more, you can obviously put some int badges or some other things to modify her a little bit. She can still heal a couple of thousand with Pure Cradle, and you still have the regen afterwards, which is more than enough. Okay, so we are, I believe, at the final stage actually, and so this is a 2 stage wave here, and so these 2 bosses, if you fought them in the past, you'll know that they have an inner core as well. So the first matter of business is to wipe out both of them right off the bat. In this case, it doesn't matter if we apply pain or any status, because once the outer shell sheds, we have to fight the inner core, which has a separate fight, in which case you can't really put any debuffs because the debuffs kind of crumbled along with its outer shell. That being said, no big deal. You activate the AF just to make sure you set up all your shielding, and keep in mind that with Stormbite we actually increase our speed for our whole team during the AF, especially with 3 stacks. If you need additional speed, I guess you could cast Acute Inciting as well from Claude. However, I find that the boost from 3 stacks of Stormbite is usually enough to outspeed the enemies, not to mention that of course we have the preemptive. Anyways, after all that, we lasered them out. And so no, I was mistaken. I did remember there's 5 stages. So sorry about that. That was a 4th wave done. And we have, of course, the Gnome, which we used to beat up in Purgatory. However, this version of Gnome is a little bit more difficult. Again, HP stoppers in play, so watch out for that. In the first term against Gnome, we apply all our power and debuffs, and note that it does do an AoE right off the bat. Now, if you have enough debuffs in play, you probably won't really worry about it too much. Aurora Force obviously reduces Earth type attacks by 50%, not to mention we have Int down, 2 power downs, and obviously a Rage from Overbear as well. Now in this case, the only thing left to do is to survive 1 more turn, build up our half bar, and try to end it. And note that it does have a 50% HP stopper, so we use Sakia to push it over on turn 2 using the Spirit Parade. Keep in mind, I didn't mention this earlier, but she is in adversity mode. Her red HP bar reduces her max HP, however increases her attack damage. And if you want some more explanation of how to use her, definitely watch my 5-star review on Sakia. That being said, she's doing a ton of damage, and with a simple AF after 50%, there's no additional HP stoppers, and we are able to laser that boss down and end this wave of Battle Simulator, at least for the Cascading Quakes. So you do get 50 Chronostones, you get an additional couple Chronostones, as well as some extra cool gear as well. So there's a badge, Power Fate Earth, and finally an extra bracelet. So as usual, I will show my loadout here. Most of the loadout is pretty standard stuff, although like I said, you are relying on a little bit of RNG for pain. If you look at Claude's setup, he does apply, he has 1 grass stick that can be in, that was dormanted ore to apply pain, but really we use Bertrand to essentially apply pain for everything. Otherwise, you can just check out the rest of the setups. Pretty standard stuff. Claude is grass stick carrying for Sakia, which again is the main DPS for our team. Anyways, gotta go work on stage 4 of the Tides. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.